We're not super late.
No, we're doing pretty good.
Come on. It's not showing up yet. Oh, I think here we go. All right, here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen of NerdCage Nation, this is a Dune Part 2 spoiler. If you have not seen the movie or read the book, we're going to spoil the shit out of it. Popcorn bucket and all. That being said, Joe of FallenOne Gaming, give me that countdown.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Get over here! Hi, I'm martial art master Daniel Pacino. You know me as the original Johnny Cage, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Reptile, and Smoke. You are tuning in to NerdCage Live on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Don't miss an episode or you'll get caged. So let's finish him.
This is Anthony Marquez, better known as Kung Lao for Mortal Kombat. Make sure to like and subscribe to NerdCage Live. Be there. Us.
Hey everybody, this is Dave Niebor from Dog Eat Dog, and you're watching NerdCage Live. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel. These are great guys doing what they love to do.
NerdCage Live and gaming are a perfect match.
Shoot the J, Joe.
Okay.
Shoot it!
All right.
Over on NerdCage Live on Twitch, Jay and Joe go live.
Call me Bazooka Joe.
It's all about you.
Kaboom!
Playing both old school and new school games every Tuesday night. Ooh, what a sight!
Jay, stop looking at her face and run.
But she's so beautiful!
So be sure to follow NerdCage Live on Twitch.
Run for your life, Joe. Run for your life, Joe.
Running.
Run faster! Oh no, Joe! The galaxy's doomed because of you!
To scratch your gaming itch.
Oh, nice kick, Joe.
Thank you.
Yo, that's diabolical. Wait. Yo!
That's twitch.tv/NerdCageLive.
Hi, I'm Leah Montalongo, the OG Sindel. Please like, subscribe to NerdCage Live.
This is Ernie C. from Body Count. You're tuned in to NerdCage. Can you like and subscribe?
Hey guys, it's the original Shao Kahn, Brian Glenn, and I'd like you to subscribe to NerdCage Live.
It has begun.
If what you say is true, the Shaolin
And the NerdCage
could be dangerous.
Greetings, citizens. You're now trapped in a NerdCage. We hope you have a smashing good time.
You are now about to witness the strength of Geek Knowledge. Hello, welcome. That's right. Once again, you are trapped in NerdCage Live. This channel is a celebration of all things pop culture, including science fiction and Dune. If you are new to the channel, please hit that like button and subscribe. Share with everybody you know. It helps us more than you know. I'm your co-host, Jay St. G, certified geek, 7 days a week, coming to you live from yours truly, the land of the orange, the land of Tom Cruise, the land of Anthrax, the land of Earth Crisis of Syracuse, New York. And always among us, it's our moderator and trollhammer, stronger than a DK banana stomach. You can't stop it, you can't crop it, you can't top it like a B-52 bomber, Oppenheimer. He's gonna drop it, born from the atomic seed in the titanium womb. He's the NerdCage Live Gaming Prophet. It is Joe of FallenOne Gaming, and also joining us tonight, he is part of the Michigan chapter of the Zack Snyder fan club. Ladies and gentlemen of Joe Blow Horror, Joe Blow Originals, and of course the brand new spanking awesome podcast, Needlessly Nostalgic. We got our man, the unofficial third member, Tyler Nichols. How you doing, man?
My introduction as a Zack Snyder fan club member, but I guess I'll take that.
That's why I told Joe that I'm introducing both of you guys today. But Joe, before we go any further, who do we got in the chat tonight for this spoiler discussion?
In the chat tonight for our spoiler discussion, we have Josh Bates, we have Byron Kingsley, and Tava Spolka, and a ton of lurkers, I'm sure.
Yo, we appreciate y'all being here tonight. Thank you so much again. This is a full-blown spoiler discussion. If you have not seen the movie, you know, we're going to be spoiling and we're going to give our reviews and whatnot. Also, why don't we go around the circle real quick. We'll go around, give our general thoughts of the movie, and then promote whatever we got to promote. So, to our guest, Tyler Nichols, go ahead, promote whatever you got to promote, and give your general thoughts on Dune Part 2. Mm-hmm.
What about you guys? What did you think of Dune 2?
Before I get into that, I have to mention that the man who hates sand, Dion McGill, is in the chat.
Dion, good to see you, buddy. Yes. We love you, Dion. Also, Joe, before you give your thoughts real quick, I just want to say that I am actually a fan of Needlessly Nostalgic. I've been listening to every episode as they drop. Highly recommend, because Tyler and Lance Velchik, who also runs Joe Blow Original Horrors, really cool to hear those guys just go deep into these Friday the 13th movies. And it's definitely always fun to hear their banter and, you know, them talking about the horniness of horror movies and stuff like that. So, just to say, and oh yeah, the links are in the description, people. Okay, we're having that issue again, Joe. The apparently we can't hear
muting on full screen. Yeah.
Yeah, it did that last time. Hang on a second. Let me Joe, Tyler, go ahead and just give me a quick sound check here. Huh. I don't know why it does that. I don't know. I don't know. It happened last time. Here, this is what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to copy and paste. Yeah, they said they can hear us just fine, but whatever reason, we can't hear Tyler here. I'm going to try this again here. Hold on. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. We're just... yeah, I don't know why. This happened last week, too, with Shaq Oatmeal, and I don't know why it's... Oh, hold on. Hold on, I'm wondering if this is the issue right here. Hold on. Tyler, say something again.
Check. Hi, I am talking again. Hopefully people can hear me.
All right. Tyler, real quick, just just promote your podcast one last time since everybody didn't hear you.
All right, so I have a podcast. It's called Needlessly Nostalgic. We are currently talking about the Friday the 13th series, and yeah, we just finished up the 4th film, and Friday will be Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning. So really excited about that and as Jay pointed out, we really get real deep into it. Some of our episodes are longer than the actual movies themselves, so we very much get heavy into the woods, so definitely check that out. And yeah, hopefully you guys can. Yep, it sounds like people can hear now.
Yep,
so
yeah, I know. I just checked out my phone
good.
here. I think I might know what the issue. I think I might know. I'll get into it later. But okay, we're all good to go here. All right. Again, Joe, go ahead, give your general thoughts, and then we got some shows to promote.
We do. So my general thoughts on the movie, dude. This Part 2 is a masterpiece of cinema. And I will go along to say that it's right up there with how Empire Strikes Back capitalized on the original Star Wars fame. And, dude, if you haven't seen this yet, you have to go see it. We're going to get into it, but it's got some monumental moments in it.
Yes. And then, Joe, if you haven't already, our live stream with John Turk.
Yes, John Turk, the Sub-Zero, the Shang Tsung, and all the ninjas in MK3. If you haven't seen that live stream, you're in for a treat. It was a lot of fun doing it.
And of course, it's available on all podcast platforms, as well as our top 5 movies, which also featured Tyler.
Yes, top 5 movies of 2024.
And of course, last week's live stream. Hold on, where is the thumbnail? Boom!
Yes, our top 5 most anticipated games of 2024.
Yes, that was also with Shaq Oatmeal, Mad Mike Jones, and of course our longtime collaborator Wild Band. The podcast version is available on all platforms as well. And of course, Joe, tomorrow on twitch.tv/NerdCage Live.
We will be back at it with more X-Men Legends.
And of course, big show this coming Thursday, March 7th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes, we're going to chop it up with Mike Valenti of Brick by Brick.
Yes, and of course, Joe, Friday, I don't know what time, but tentatively Friday on twitch.tv/NerdCage Live.
You have it tentatively set for 4 p.m. And, dude, a Tropical Freeze is coming with Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze.
Yes, and then Joe, next Thursday, March 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Happy Little Games.
Patman QC will be on the show.
Yes, this man's got over 60,000 subscribers. Be there. It's going to be a special show. He does documentaries on old school arcade games. And then Wednesday, March 20th.
Yes, Eli Rax makes an appearance finally for an interview.
Yes, from the New York Revival. Subscribe to them. They're friends of ours. And then Thursday, March 28th, the Mac returns.
Yes, return of Doc Mac from Galloping Ghost Arcade.
And finally, world broadcast premiere Wednesday, April 3rd, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, superstar guest Finn McKenty will be on the show.
Yes, cannot wait to chop it up with Finn McKenty, a.k.a. the Punk Rock MBA. That should be really fun. Okay, I'll give my general thoughts, and we also have a question in the chat here. So, Tava asked, any opinion on Dune 2 being a box office success? Yes, I am pleasantly surprised how well the movie's doing. I'm happy to see it do very well. I really wasn't expecting it to, honestly. I feel like science fiction is such a niche audience. So it's really cool that people in this, this climate, movie climate, everybody went out to see Dune 2, and also the word of mouth is certainly helping. My general thoughts, absolutely love the movie. This may be not just the best movie of the year. This may be one of the best movies of this current decade. So we're going to get right into it. Spoilers and all, guys. Here we go. Oh, you know what? I got one thing to promote. Be sure to get yourself a NerdCage Live t-shirt. Link in the description to our TeePublic. Any size, any color, whether you're skinny, booty call, or a fat fuck. Big or small, we love them all. Get yourself a NerdCage Live t-shirt with all these awesome designs available. We even got the rival of the MCU with Deadpool 3 on the way. The PlayStation shirt. Do not tell the RZA. We got the one-handed shirt. And of course, we're huge Mortal Kombat fans. We have definitely some Mortal Kombat designs. Also for you Kaiju fanatics, we got the legendary design. And of course, we got a couple Rocky designs here. So be sure to get yourself a NerdCage Live t-shirt. You're going to love the way you look. I guarantee it. All right, Joe, where do you want to start with this crazy movie?
Well, I guess the best place to start is probably just to start at the beginning, right?
Yeah. After, so picks up right in the desert, right after Jamil gets killed? Am I saying his name right? Yeah.
Yeah, Jamil Jamis, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and, we're seeing the transition of seeing Paul, Timothée Chalamet's character, learn the ways of the desert.
The Fremen, to be exact, yes.
Yes. Yeah, I thought it was really cool to see, obviously NerdCage Live Gaming, we like to talk the prophecy. So I kind of got my shits and giggles of just seeing this prophecy come true. And I really did enjoy the believers and the non-believers. And I just want to point out, I really, really love the performance of Javier Bardem, because his character was like the one true believer, and it was just cool seeing his reaction as everything unfolded, and how he was like, defending the prophecy and this and that. God, it was just so cool. It really, really was.
Yeah, I like how they gave him some comic relief moments in there too. That was pretty cool. He did spout some little dad jokes here and there.
Yeah. I mean, it was. Another thing too is I feel like this movie. Again, I'm not taking anything away from the first film, but it was really paced. I think this movie was paced better than the first one.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And maybe it's because the first one was kind of like setting everything up. This movie's just like go. It just hits the fucking go button, like go.
I disagree about pacing. I definitely think that the first film was better paced.
You think so?
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff like Paul learning stuff in the desert, where I'm like, okay, we went through this in the first movie. They definitely took their time when it seemed like the intention of the scene was already very clear, where it's just like, okay. He really loved his slower shots. Thankfully, it wasn't in slow-mo.
I can kind of see why they would do that too. Like, if somebody skipped the first one and jumped straight into this one, they want to do a little bit of slight recap just to get them up to speed. So I can kind of see why they did that. But yeah, I can see where you're coming from, where it's like somebody that already saw the first one. It's like, yeah, we saw this get to the point already. So
yeah.
I don't know. I personally feel that the first one, you kind of have to. I rewatched the first one like a couple of days beforehand. I feel like it's just required. Just rewatch the first one, and I think it helps the movie flow. But that's just me. I mean,
yeah. This is Dune Part 2, so I feel like if you're not watching Dune Part 1, then what are you even doing with your time? Because I mean, I know I rewatched the first one in anticipation, and so I think that's also too. So I am comparing the two, and I need to state right off the bat, like, I loved the movie, but there's little things that bugged me, and one of the biggest things was the size of the world. And what I mean by that is there's a line in the first movie where the Atreides are on their home world, and they get sent a message. There's an envoy being sent to them to give them a message, and even Oscar Isaac's character is like, oh, well, it costs them this amount of money, or it might have been even his advisor telling him how much money it costs for them just to go across the galaxy to reach them. it made space travel and everything about it seem so grand, where then in this movie it's like there's full armadas that are showing up, like boom, bam, immediately. It lacked the size of the world that I really loved about the first one, where this one kind of made it more like every other movie, where it's just like, oh, yep, they're all the five kingdoms or whatever are able to be there immediately. The emperor's mad about this. He's able to be there immediately, which I felt like kind of went against what was set up in the first movie. So I was just slightly disappointed because I loved the world building so much in that first film, where then in the second one I'm like, it feels more generic now. So
I mean, my only counter to that, and I don't disagree with you, actually. Now that you pointed that out, I don't disagree with you. My only thing was, I think maybe it was like a time concern, because the movie was long as it is, and don't get me wrong,
It's already 2 hours.
I love long movies, like a 4-hour Snyder cut. Okay, I like long movies, but I think because this movie's already long, to what you're just saying, I think it was just what you just said is true, but I think it's because they didn't want to like make the movie longer than it already is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was quite shocking that it was. I mean, I looked at my watch and I was like, "Holy shit, we're not into the final act, and it's 2 hours into it." It's like, "Holy, that's insane!" Because I've been anticipating that Fade Rotha battle since the movie was announced. It's like, I want that battle.
Oh yes.
And to the time points and everything too. I rewatched before I watched Dune 2. I watched not only Dune Part 1, but I rewatched the David Lynch film too. And the David Lynch film literally just compacts all of this into like a 3-hour runtime. And you have stuff that's in Dune Part 2 within like the first hour of the original Lynch film, and you don't realize how fast it's actually compacting all this information. So to be able to flesh it out a little more in these new films is something refreshing to me.
Yeah. Well, I'm seeing someone in the chat that I think they misunderstood what I'm saying. So I would say that the houses showing up, even if it was 12 hours, is just insanely fast. This is space travel. These should be taking months and weeks.
Yeah,
like,
Joe,
like how
Joe, if you want to go ahead
and
read those comments from Josh Bates, go for it.
Yeah, it says, respectfully, it wasn't immediately. The Baron said that to send out the word that they were about to get attacked. Then the fighting happened all day at night and into the morning. And then the other great houses showed up at least 12 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, my point would be more that's still extremely fast. I would want things again, it's all about the world that was set up, and they definitely didn't set it. They established it more as the Avatar style, where it takes them forever to travel, which is what actual space travel would technically be. So again, it's all about the world building, and I love sci-fi stuff. So whenever I notice the elements where I'm like, this is more, I don't know, just generic, and kind of like one of the big things is I love, and this is never introduced or really broached in a lot of space stuff, but space travel in real life, if you were to travel in space, you essentially, your home planet the people on it are going to age so much more than you if you're traveling from place to place. So I get that them not following that concept, because then you're dealing with people aging at different rates. But the thing that I like where that concept can kind of come through without that is the actual treating of travel like it actually takes a long time. Versus, I mean, I don't mind it when they introduce like portals, like Mass Effect does a good job with these jump places, but then you still have to travel to get to them. So yeah, I'm a big sci-fi nerd, and that's what I like.
Yeah, also I think another thing too is most of the movie took place, on the sand, and like, we're kind of seeing it from their perspective, not so much the space traveling perspective too. I mean, it's just another, because I feel like the first movie, like you just said, it had more of that, the space traveling, and we got to see more. We saw more outer space stuff in the first movie than we did in this one. So I think that's probably that plays another factor into how you feel the way you feel too.
No.
So.
Yeah. Josh interjects here. He says that in the first film they established that they have wormhole travel, which would kind of close that plot hole a little bit. But on top of that, I mean, time constraints being what they are.
Yeah.
Massive light speed travel and stuff over a long period of time is better done in a series than it is in a movie. So I can understand why they kind of had to speed the process up a bit.
Well, but my main point is just like that the time element wasn't taken care of as well as I would have liked. Same with the attacks. All of the attacks on the different spice places, you don't really get a good sense of how much time is taking place in between all of these different events, where then it's like, which I like the fact that it's ambiguous, because then you're not quite as, you can't pick apart stuff as much, but there's times where it's like, wait a minute, we literally just saw a scene of Dave Bautista's character getting super pissed off and saying he's gonna go and kill these people, and then we still see them attacking these places with no consequences. It's another scene after that we finally see Bautista actually do something. So then it's just like there's weird timing things.
And that's a problem from film to series in general, because in a film the only way to really do that quickly is to do like the whole 2 months later thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it kind of comes off as cheesy sometimes.
Yeah. 1 week, it would have just been constant, like 1 week later, 2 weeks later, 1 month later.
I mean, I can just gush about Batista real quick, because, like, I mean, back in the WWE days, I didn't think this man was going to be the actor he would become, and I know his role is limited, but my God, I just love I love his performance here in these Dune films. I really do, because we're just the sense of panic that he has. That he knows if he doesn't get this job done, he's fucked, and he just portrays that so well. Like he's a coward, and he's a self-centered coward. He's looking out for his best interest, because he knows that if he doesn't succeed, he's fucked. And I just...
Yeah, his whole character is fear-based. It's all... He is completely driven by his fear of the Baron, whether it's his anger, his motivations for completing his goal. It's all that fear of the Baron, which Baron Harkonnen, I mean, Stellan Skarsgård is just... He is so fucking good in this movie. It's... every element of him... For anyone that has seen, which I think most of chat said they've seen the original Dune, and Baron Harkonnen in that is not good. I like that movie, but the Baron is the worst part about it. And this I think shows why he is just so... Why Skarsgård is just phenomenal.
The Baron in the original movie is kind of laughable. It's like they didn't make him menacing, they just made him gross.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, he's got a skin disease. Okay, that's cool.
Here he's gross and menacing, Like...
Yeah. And I mean, Stellan Skarsgård does such a good job, and Bautista, he does a masterful portrayal in that role. But did anybody else, when he gets angry and he starts getting amped up and yelling and everything, just see Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy? Because that's all I can think of.
I mean, I get that, but like I said, like he's just... I don't think... You could make the argument he's the best wrestler turned actor. You can make the argument. I don't think he's there yet, but you can make the argument. And I actually like the fact that he's getting roles like this. Like he's not just doing comedic stuff. He's doing like serious, serious shit.
Yeah, and not to switch topics or anything, but I really, really hope he gets to be Marcus Phoenix.
Yes.
And War, and if they adapt that to film, that just masterful casting.
That's my dream casting for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Dave Bautista he's everything he's shown up in, he's great. And in the first movie, he didn't really have a ton to do. He just kind of shows up for maybe 3 scenes, but here he has a full arc.
He has a lot of
yes.
time, yeah.
Like the first movie, he's like, okay, boss, I got this. The second movie, he's like, oh, okay, I gotta do it. Otherwise, like we see. Honestly, God, you almost sympathize because it's like, I know you don't. I know we're kind of rooting for the good guys and bad guys, but this is like the one time where they made the villain like sympathetic, like he's under orders, like we see like what.
I don't think he's sympathetic at all. I don't agree with you at all on that. I think you're letting your love for Batista carry over into the character.
Hey, I'm Mexican. Give me a break.
Yeah, and some things are just like the little things kind of get me sometimes, just like pronunciations and stuff. Like in the Lynch films and everything, when they talked about the Harkonnen and everything, they said Harkonnen and they had it pronounced down the O. Well, in these, they call it Harkonnen, which is the same thing. It's just pronounced differently, and it just doesn't really throw you off. It just makes you think for a second.
Yeah. Well, in terms of other underrated roles, I would say Florence Pugh as Princess Irulan is also another. Just she doesn't have a whole lot of screen time, but she takes none of it for granted. That girl is a chameleon of an actress, and every time I see her in any movie, she's just feels like a completely different person, and I appreciate that a lot with her.
I mean, she's going from like Oppenheimer to this, so yeah, like you said, that's some great fucking range. Okay, so I've been chomping at the bit to talk about it, and as you can see the thumbnail, and of course Josh in the chat just brought it up. Austin fucking Butler, I have to gush. He's my MVP of this movie, or one of my 2 MVPs. Okay, I'm just a little off topic here. I just want to say I feel like and I'm hoping Tyler can back me up on this because you're a Joe Blow guy. I feel like the media went a little hard on him during the whole Elvis thing. I think he did such a phenomenal job with Elvis, and I know the media clowned him for doing the method and the whole accent thing, that he kept the accent going long after he was done filming. Well, I don't care. I think he was phenomenal as Elvis. And again, I understood why Brendan Fraser won the Oscar. But man, he makes his performance count here in this movie. I absolutely loved him. I think he was the best part. Talking villains, the villain side of the movie, he was the best fucking part. And Joe, I have to say it again. The minute he entered the arena, and I'm sure the NerdCage Nation's gonna love this reference. As soon as I saw him enter the arena, all I could hear in my head was Tourette's guy saying, "I hope this is the P. Diddy version of this song, not that Sting piece of shit." All I could think was Sting in the first week coming out in that fucking thong or whatever the hell that he was wearing.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my God, Austin Butler's gonna make Sting look more foolish than he already does, and he fucking did. Yeah. And God,
I'm just glad they went modern and menacing with it, other than the 80s style sex sells thing in the Lynch film. They brought it.
Well, yeah, that's 1984. That was like the peak of the police too. That was like that was the peak of the police. My mom and dad saw the police, the original lineup in 1983 or 84 at this Carrier Dome. Okay, so when Dune, the original Dune movie came out, the police were at their fucking peak. Anyway, I'm going off topic here. I'm a sucker for like gladiator style fucking showdowns. So to see this gladiator style, World War Hulk style, arena battle, hey, this guy's not drugged, and like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That was such an awesome.
And let's just talk cinematography for a second, dude. Yeah. That was shot in infrared, which was amazing in itself. It's like a black and white thing. Like the fireworks look like ink blots because it's a pale planet, so there's not enough light spectrum. So they shot it in infrared, and that was masterful, I think.
Yeah, because they said it was a black sun, right? Yeah. They're like,
Yeah.
we're under the black sun, and then the fireworks were black. God, that shit was so dope. That was my favorite sequence.
I think one of my favorite elements of Austin Butler's Fade Rotha is because I kept wondering, like, what's he gonna do for his accent? How's he gonna sound? And I love that he essentially watched the first movie and was like, "Oh, Stellan Skarsgård, I like your voice. I'm gonna just take that." Because that's what he does. He is just recreating Stellan Skarsgård's voice, and it's perfect. It's so good. It works for that character so well. And yeah, I can't say enough good things about his performance, because that's a hard role to pull off, especially after everyone just considered him Elvis. I mean, that was as good as he was in that role.
And this shows his range for sure.
Yeah. Yes.
Also,
absolutely.
Immediately after, and this is also big credit to Hans Zimmer, who I believe is the second coming of John Williams. That's the sequence immediately after the arena battle where Skarsgård was talking to telling him like, "Hey, I did this for you. I'm giving this gift for you. I want you to be the I want you to lead us."
You tried to kill me, motherfucker.
But the intensity, the dialogue and the intensity, the way that sequence was shot, the way it was just felt so intense. There was like a build-up. Like, I just the way it was executed with the music in the background like that, it was just this masterful filmmaking right there. Especially coming off such we went from a really action-heavy sequence to a heavy dialogue sequence, and like it was you can make the argument that the dialogue sequence was just as intense as the action sequence was, and that was just so fucking well done.
Like Josh says in here, the Ben Gesserit's showing up in their black robes and everything against the black sun and stuff. It just keeps your mind to, like, they come in and you're like, oh shit, yeah, they're still running shit, So it kind of reminds you who's in charge, and that was kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Joe, where you want to sequence to next? I don't know.
I'm really chomping at the bit to be talking about the sandworm rides. Dude, them riding those friggin' sandworms, that was amazing. Especially the fucking big one when Paul Atreides rides it. Dude, that was an amazing sequence.
That was loud. If you saw this shit in IMAX, you felt the ground shake.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention, I like the what do you call those things they stick in the ground to get the worm's attention there?
Thumpers?
Yes.
I think they just call them thumpers. Yeah.
Yeah, thumpers. Yeah. That fucking the bass of the IMAX theater.
The bass of that, yeah.
And
I will say though that was one thing though. The sandworms, I felt like in the first movie they were such a threat, and then in this movie they were kind of more like a pet.
They're like a pet almost.
Yeah. Or it's like, which again, I'm more saying it as like a dang. That's why I wish they had been more of a threat.
Which I understand in the story that's the same way. Like, they're sworn enemies, and then because Paul Atreides ascends to this almost godhood like shit, he's able to squash that feud and bring them together, it's kind of cool when you think about it.
I didn't realize this was PG-13.
I'm glad you pointed that out. Because first and foremost, I knew it was PG-13, but man, did they push the envelope. They pushed the violence as far as they possibly could. I mean, we're seeing everybody get stabbed, getting their throat slit. Like, I'm like, damn, like they're really like cutting it close.
I mean, they did a lot of cutaways, but you still knew what was happening. So
the moment where you can hear Baron Harkonnen murdering those girls through the door, and then like we don't see it, but then Batista goes in and you just see the two bodies that are just like laying in a pool of blood next to them, where it's like, ooh, sorry.
Yeah. For sure. And Josh is right on here. I think the grandfather worm, Javier's reaction to it was what made that so menacing, because he basically portrayed that, Paul could die trying to ride this thing.
Well, the scope of it was so
succeeds,
cool,
it's that
though,
much more impactful.
because when he's like climbing the worm and all the the sand, all the sand that's like passing, the intensity of the sand passing through, like really gave a good sense of scale.
Did you notice too during that they show where it's how he's able to flip the worm is he like opens up essentially like the nostrils, so then of course the worm is going to adjust and then have that towards the air.
Yeah,
I like that a lot. Yeah, it was very cool.
Oh yeah, and we're here at NerdCage Nation, we're suckers for kaiju, so the kaiju fans definitely got their giant monster fix from this movie for sure. And
and the other thing that was trailing in my mind when I'm seeing these sandworms, because it's right on the it's in the near future, there are sandworms in Beetlejuice, and I'm like, are they going to do them kind of the same, or how are they going to look? Tim Burton style.
Maybe it's
stop motion.
Maybe it's time for a Tremors remake.
Maybe.
I hope somebody's watching. Yes. So I hope somebody's watching. They took a page from Dune, like, let's do Tremors. Let's bring back Tremors.
I would love it if there's some dumb Hollywood exec whose big takeaway from Dune Part 2 is, people love giant worms. We need to make a Tremors movie. We need to make a Tremors reboot. Like, that's hope.
Not to jump ahead, but just because someone brought it up in the chat, asked if Paul became the villain. You can make the argument that he kind of turns villain, but I don't know. I
kind of know the background on this a little bit, and he's still technically the hero, but it comes back to human nature, and even if you're doing the wrong thing, you'll trick yourself into making it look like you are the hero. So in his mind, he's the hero, but a lot of the stuff that he's doing betrayal-wise and everything else is very villain-esque. So he's almost like an anti-hero at this point.
Yeah, I'd argue that just like his mom, they are both kind of tainted once they have that water of life. As soon as they have that.
I think besides the water of life, I think the big thing that turned him was when he found out he had a connection to the Harkonnen. When he found out he was cousins with Fade, he was like, okay, well, that changes everything,
I think the main thing that taught him with that was just that then they could use Fade in his place.
Yeah.
I think it clicked to him of like, oh, I'm not the only one.
I'm expendable.
Yeah, they got another one. I think that's why Paul also agrees to fight Fade at the end, because he knows like, oh, I need to get rid of this. Is my competition. Which also, I like too. They once he has the water of life, they do this great moment where he essentially talks about all of the different outcomes and then how they have to. It's a fine line that they have to walk in order to get the outcome that they want.
I immediately was thinking of Avengers Infinity War, when Doctor Strange is looking at the possible outcomes of the future. That was the first thing that came into my mind. I'm like, so that's where they got that.
That's why, which is why, like, Paul, it's him understanding, like, oh, he can't be with, Chani, Zendaya's character, because he knows the only way that they win is if he partners with the princess. So I like that, because then it's essentially his decision making is going to be viewed on how he views fate and how he thinks that things are going to turn out the best.
Yes, you know what? Here's the point. I was just thinking, just dawned on me. He's going from leading with his heart to leading with his head, because he's got a clear vision. He doesn't see fragments anymore. He sees everything. So now he's not leading with his heart no more. He's leading with his head.
Yeah, and think of it this way. They actually touched on that when Christopher Walken says, the reason I killed your father is because he was weak and he led with his heart. Mm-hmm. So that was another thing where he kind of changed and said, okay, fuck my heart, go to my mind.
Yeah.
Christopher Walken, I feel like that's another person we haven't talked about in terms of
that was a surprise for me too, because it's like he oddly fits, but you wouldn't expect him to fit in that role.
the first scene, it's like, oh, that's Christopher Walken. It almost like takes you out, and then by like the second scene, you're like, oh yeah,
and he's a lot more soft spoken in this. He doesn't do his Walkenisms, so that kind of makes it a little more believable, which was very refreshing.
And
goes back to Denis Villeneuve being such a good director.
Yes. I think Denis Villeneuve. I'm gonna say it again, a little off topic here, but I'm just gonna speak into existence. I know it will never happen, but I want to see Denis Villeneuve direct a Metroid movie. Please, Nintendo, if you are listening, there's nobody else that's more qualified than bringing the Chozo and the world of Metroid to life. Please, Nintendo, Denis Villeneuve will do Metroid justice. Book it. It'll never happen, but one can dream.
Yeah.
But yes, Christopher Walken, you're right. He oddly fits. I was kind of ready for it because I knew that he was in the movie, so I was kind of excited. I kept my mouth shut because the other day when my girlfriend and my roommate, we were watching the first one, and I kept my mouth shut until after the first, and I was just like, the Emperor's Christopher Walken.
I definitely told people after like the first movie of like, this person's gonna be Fade Rotha, and this person's gonna be the Emperor, this person's the princess. Like, I feel like that's one of the fun things.
Give him the right role. He's great. If you give him the right role, he's great. I know, he's memed a lot, and I know he's done a lot of weird comedy roles, but give him the right role. He's fucking great.
True Romance. His speech in True Romance is just haunting. It's so
Batman Returns.
So well done.
Fucking his cameo in Pulp Fiction, one of my favorite cameos of all time. Here's kind of deep.
By the way, chat froze.
Chat froze again.
I can fix that.
That's easily fixed.
Yeah. But yeah, the King of New York is one of my favorite performances. But this was a good performance from Christopher Walken for sure. I'm glad they managed to fit him in such a talented roster, to say the least.
And Byron, I see your statement there. That's not off the table.
Yes,
in terms of,
I know people. Yeah, sorry, real quick. We may do a Dune 2 watch party, and here's why: because we did a Dune Part 1 watch party, but that was because of the whole dual release thing. I would not rule out doing a Dune Part 2 spoiler or watch party when that comes to Max, because it was a blast that one time. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't rule that out.
Yeah. I think next we can probably jump into the reunion between Josh Brolin's character there, Gurney, and Paul Atreides when that's revealed.
Did anyone else feel like that didn't? I felt like it didn't have to really happen. Like,
it didn't have to, but I'm glad it did. In a way, it kind of just shows that the Atreides family and stuff is still around. There's not just one of you left. So it's kind of, it did have meaning to it.
Also, I like the line that he says, "I recognize your footsteps, old man." So
yeah, it's straight out of the first film.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for the parallels there, and and obviously that training sequence in the first movie was one of my favorite sequences in the first movie when he the knife training sequence with Josh Brolin. I love Josh Brolin too. He's just
Tavia Smolka asks, why did the Emperor kill the Atreides family off?
Because he was getting too powerful. He was worried that he would take his spot.
Yeah, I think he was worried about being overthrown, and they had this gain in power that was unsustainable. So.
And they mentioned too that the Bene Gesserit were like puppeteering that. It's what they wanted. So who's to even say that the Emperor truly wanted that? He may have just been manipulated enough by the Bene Gesserit.
Exactly. So I hope that answers that.
Also, I kind of like the fact that I'm not saying it was like a role reversal where Josh was his mentor in the first movie. Now it was almost like he was a student to Paul in this one because obviously Paul knows the ways of the desert and whatnot. And I also like the fact that he was kind of like his right hand man. I also like the part, and again, right before that final fight sequence where he's like, hey, let me fight this animal. Like, you don't have to do this. Let me fight him for you. And he's like, no. I just like that, he was, he had his back regardless, It was just cool being. I like seeing Josh Brolin as the right-hand man there. Also, he was rocking the long hair this time, so.
Yes. And Josh Bates adds that he did come up with lyrics to his own song that he was creating throughout in this one while he's in that when he's in the ship that's approaching, when he had that 12-string guitar.
Yeah, I definitely could have told that. I feel like the writing was very different from anything else in the movie.
Yeah, exactly. To jump back a little bit, some of the little things that I liked was they actually showcased how they take water out of people, and
good point. Yeah,
how the Harkonnens they don't drink the water because it's full of chemicals, but they can use it as a coolant.
Cool.
That was kind of cool. And the big it's kind of like the sacred water pool there was kind of cool too.
Yes.
Yeah, but they take all the water from their downed compatriots and they put it into there as kind of like a monument to them.
Yeah, it's forbidden to drink from it too. Yeah, I thought that was definitely.
Yeah, and then when the place gets artillery bashed and all the rocks are falling in it and everything, and they kind of just they ruin it. that was an impactful scene too.
So. Yeah.
Hey Tavia, we already answered that.
Yeah, I was about to type that in the chat. Yeah.
In terms of things that I really liked, I absolutely adored just how they handled the Rebecca Ferguson, the Jessica, her essentially becoming a bad guy. I think that was handled so well because you're also able to see how she was able to manipulate the faithful, and how much even Paul was starting to.
Because they were gaining power, that's why. Power corrupts people. So we kind of saw like the characters transition because the power corrupts people. It's kind of, I thought definitely, it was cool to see. Shout out to Rebecca Ferguson.
Yeah, it helps.
She is a dreamboat, just saying.
Yeah, her and then pretty much the entire movie, it was just character development. Everyone went through quite the arc, which I know that was one of the complaints about the first movie. It was
that's just that we didn't see that in the first movie. But like I said, the first movie was more about setup. This was more so about character arcs, and now that everything's laid out there, boom, let's go.
Yeah, pretty much everyone from the beginning of the film to the end is very different.
Yes.
And I don't know if you want to jump this far forward, but that epic knife battle.
Yes, thank you. I was chomping at the bit. First and foremost, I love the parallel between the first movie ended with a knife fight. This movie ends with a knife fight, but this time there's more at stake, a lot more at stake. And also I like the fact where, no, I'm not dissing the first movie at all. Whereas the first knife fight was kind of basic, this one was more fantastical with more exaggerated moveset. With the spinning, the spinneroos and the flips, and it was a more spectacular knife fight than the first one. And it was, not to mention, it was like, here's the thing, where in the first movie Jamil was just there, came out of nowhere. Here we saw the buildup of how powerful Austin Butler's character was. Like, it was, so we knew like this was going to be a scarier matchup, a scarier fight, a more skilled opponent, a more vicious opponent. And I think that it was just the buildup. Where the first one didn't have that buildup. There was no buildup for that. in the first one. This one, there was a build-up. And, of course, I did like that exchange. Oh, hello, cousin. And...
Yes. And just to speak this into existence, Jay, possible fight critiques, maybe, for that scene?
Yes. Yes. More on that later.
Yes.
Also,
but dude, that scene was amazing.
Not so much, even before the fight even happened, seeing Austin Butler, like, he was kind of like chomping at the bit when they first came into the Emperor's room there, and like, and he was just standing there like he's like ready to go. You know, hey, pick yourself a champion, and he just stepped right up, and also seeing now I don't know. The point is, I don't know if we can actually talk about. I'm sorry, I'm jumping just a little bit backwards though. But as the Baron was dying on his last breath, was he climbing the stairs because he wanted to be on the throne, like feel like how it felt like
it certainly seemed that way.
Yep.
That's the impression I got.
He wanted to die on the throne.
He wanted to die on the throne, yeah. And that was the impression I got. I don't know if that was what they were going for, but but I kind of liked how that he was going for that. And then And then we see that, and then, like I said, that epic knife fight. Oh, my God.
Yeah, the cinematography during that knife fight, to have that, like, sundown background with the silhouetted fighters and everything, that was pretty impactful, too. So
that was cool. You know what that reminded me of? Do you remember that scene in Skyfall where James Bond was fighting on the blue... the lit up blue, on the top floor there, where you just saw the silhouette fight in Skyfall. That's what it kind of reminded me of, a little bit.
They do that also in Kill Bill.
Yeah, Kill Bill. Yeah, that's what I was just saying, Table. That was what I think he did. They didn't explain it. That was just the impression that I got. So, but that. Also,
I loved Anya Taylor-Joy showing up as Paul's sister. That was quite that's a very nice little.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like she's one of very few actresses that she's just recognizable from her face. So even there was a ton of people in the theater who clearly had no clue what that character was, but were like, "Ooh, Anya Taylor-Joy. This is clearly an important person." So that was nice. Great casting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Also, shout out to they actually showed that Furiosa trailer too with IMAX here, so I'm definitely looking forward to that fucking movie.
Oh, you can answer that one, Jay. I know you're chomping at the bit to answer that question.
Absolutely. As far as I'm concerned, Star Wars has been eradicated from history thanks to the awesomeness that is Dune. I haven't seen anybody talk about Star Wars in the past 6 months. No one's talking about a new Star Wars movie.
I will say this:
Dune is Star Wars for adults, and it's every bit better and spectacular in every way than Star Wars. Like Star Wars.
I will say this: because there are 6 books of Dune, it could potentially match up to Star Wars in how much fame they have. And on top of that, it's Warner Brothers' ability to capitalize on Disney with this franchise.
And
so
another thing too, Star Wars is full of like cheesy acting. Dune is not. At least not this version of Dune anyway. So, but yes. I do think Dune is like the new, like, go-to space opera franchise now moving forward in our pop culture. I really think so. The box office numbers clearly reflect that, and I just hope they don't get carried away. I think now that the box office success, I think Dune's officially a franchise now. I didn't think it was going like there yet. Now it is.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I do believe that Dune will destroy Star Wars. In fact, I think Star Wars has been destroyed already. Given the way Kathleen Kennedy's been running the ship right now, I think Star Wars is dead. I think Star Wars has been dead for a while now.
Yeah. And just to answer Tavia's previous question and to kind of segue into a different topic, the Zendaya's character there being betrayed by Paul, yes, she is going wrong away, but her goal is to, make the Fremen free. So now that she sees that he's just in it to end spice production and he doesn't really care about her people, she's got to take it upon herself now to free her own people. So she's got to go her separate way. So yes, she's probably going rogue. That's why they ended on that note. And to kind of flesh that out into the entire romance story, that was kind of a very impactful overtone to have that romance going through the whole thing, and then you see him betray her. And I actually didn't know whether he was going to fully betray her or whether when she started walking away, if he was going to chase her down and go, no, I still want you, or what. I didn't know what was going to happen in that, even knowing the background of this story. And on top of that, I don't know who's more dangerous at this point going forward, whether it's actually Paul or whether it's his mother that's the dangerous one, because she's setting everything up.
Very well said. I was just going to point out, too, back to what we were saying, leading with the heart, leading with the head. I think that's also a reflection of his feelings towards her. Like, he had her in his heart now, but now he wants to mate someone. He's thinking with his head now. I'm not talking about his head on his cock. I'm thinking his head up here, that he needs, Florence Pugh, the bloodline.
He's looking at the bigger picture now.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that goes with the heart over the head over the heart. Same thing.
Well, and because it's like he can see the future now, so he knows that, there's a bunch of different outcomes where sacrificing Arrakis gets us a win, and a ton of other outcomes where trying to protect Arrakis dooms everyone. So it's like, yep, there's choices to be made.
Yep, very difficult ones.
He didn't make it
Dune
seem
Messiah is
difficult.
going to be very interesting.
Yes.
No, he kind of just went with it, but...
Yeah. And credits to Zendaya. I'll say this, 'cause I'm not a big Zendaya fan personally, but I'll say this. She did a great job when she was betrayed. Seeing the emotion on her face when she was betrayed like that and dumped like that. I thought that was definitely credit to her showing the... It wasn't so much heartbreak, she was pissed. So, it was cool to see her convey that.
And just to give Tavia a little background on the story coming up, because she asked about his sister's involvement. In the further books, his sister actually surpasses him as, the end-all, be-all of the story and everything. So she has an actual bigger involvement than he does eventually.
Yeah, Paul becomes a straight-up bad guy at one point in the story, so we'll see if they go that route, because that's also the thing, is we are officially to the point, like, Dune is the only book that people are like, okay, this is perfect. All the other books, there's a lot of give and take in terms of like, this sucks, this is good.
Yeah,
so
they may have to adapt further.
I have a feeling that Denis they're going to do a lot more work with, which they've already said the Dune Messiah is almost written. They're like,
okay, I was about to ask you that, Tyler, because since you're one of the head-ups at Joe Blow, have they gotten the green light for part 3? Because I would imagine they're going to.
It's in production. I don't know I assume if they didn't, then they're doing it on their own. Then Villeneuve was doing it on his own. But yeah, the Messiah's 3/4 written, and I mean, after this opening weekend, if it's
that's what I'm saying.
Lit,
That was a great
it will
opening
be.
weekend. It was what,
Yeah,
81
it'll
million
100%.
domestic. It was 81 domestic, 170 worldwide. So like they already basically just broke even this weekend. And now
it'll have legs too.
Yeah. So now every week now it's just gonna make profit after profit after profit. Now it's like going even.
Yeah, there's no big releases until the next big one is Godzilla versus Kong.
I don't even
so
think that's gonna do good. Sorry to say, Sean, if you're watching, I don't think Godzilla versus Kong's gonna do good. So.
But I just mean in terms of it being pushed out of IMAX. That's really I mean, what else is gonna take it out of IMAX for the next month?
Yeah.
So it's gonna be there.
And like I said, the word of mouth is just gonna pile up.
Will be huge.
Yeah.
Word of mouth and people seeing it multiple times.
Dune will be on top for at least the next 3 weeks. At least.
Yeah, I agree. And
see that.
Tyler, did you read the books or no?
I read 3/4 of the first one. It's very, very good.
Gotcha. Because I mean, we had kind of a light question here of whether or not Paul's sister becomes, a villain the way he does. And I don't really know the answer to that. I just know she takes on a bigger role.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's a good or evil role, but I know she takes a more pivotal role.
Yeah.
Does she become a
It'll be nice. It'll actually be nice going into it not knowing that. I'd like to be surprised by it, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll see what they end up doing. Well, I mean, they cast Anya Taylor-Joy. I mean, she's gonna be a good.
I would think so.
Person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as far as green lighting for this movie, it would be stupid not to. I really see this movie being successful, so I don't see why they wouldn't.
It'll probably happen this week or next. Chances are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, I don't want them to rush either. Like, if I have to wait another 4 years, so be it. Like,
oh yeah. Yeah, take your time, dude.
Take your time, make it awesome.
It's going to be another 3-hour runtime. Take your time with it,
Yeah.
And the good thing too is Dune Messiah is a very short book.
Yeah. Well, that being said, even though that it is a short book, there are 6 books. It's not out of the question that they could drip into the next one.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to see how they go with it. I'm pleasantly pleased to see how it happens.
I have a feeling that Denis is only going to do the 3rd one, and then he'll slip into a producer role if they even do past 3. I mean, they might.
I think he'll do 3. You nailed it on the head. He'll direct the next one, and then he'll probably go down to producer, give other filmmakers a shot at bringing like these spin-offs or whatever they plan on doing next.
Yeah, if they can adapt spin-off series, anything like that, and make it a complete franchise, so it's not just film-based, that's also a possibility.
And again, after he's done doing Dune, Nintendo, you can hire him to do Metroid, bring Metroid to the big screen with Margot Robbie as Samus. Make it happen. Actually, one last thing before we wrap it up here, going back to the knife fight. When obviously Paul got stabbed, my thing is, was it not a bad enough wound, or is it proof that since he came back to life from the water of life, if he was able to
I think
come
they
back,
leave that kind of open for
that's what I'm saying. Did he not come back to life, but was he able to sustain the penetration of the knife because he can't die per se, or is it because maybe it wasn't a bad enough?
Because I know the wound in the shoulder was just a flesh wound, but the wound down
the stomach. Got done in the stomach.
Yeah, that was
I just couldn't figure out was because because he survived the water of life. Is he gonna survive the knife, or maybe the knife didn't get him that bad? I couldn't figure.
And it may be a combination of the two, but like I said, it's kind of left up to interpretation. So cool.
I thought that Fade had just missed a vital organ.
Yeah, maybe just missed. But man, that was
kind of show how close. How like the fine line between Paul succeeding and failing.
Yeah,
it's like, had he just been an inch to the left, then Fade would have won, and that's how I would have taken it. But again, I only saw it 7 hours ago, so I haven't sat with these things for multiple days trying to think about it.
Yeah, we saw it Sunday, so.
Yeah. I'm kind of going to paraphrase this question here. If for some reason it does go on and it goes after a 3rd movie and they switch directors, which director do you think would be a good fit to carry the series afterwards?
I don't.
It's a tall order, I know.
Zack Snyder!
I knew you were going to say that.
I'm just doing this to get under
strong vision.
I'm just doing this to get under Tyler's skin, that's all.
I'm trying to legit think of this. Who would be good? I'm trying to think of who has.
It's tough because you have to keep the same tone.
World building.
And it's tough to find somebody that's up there at the same level.
Yeah.
So, that would be interesting.
Brandon Cronenberg.
I don't
get real weird with it.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't hate that. That's
I don't either. I think especially because Dune's very weird material, especially later on.
Tarantino.
Oh God. A lot more fucks.
I know.
Fucks. Some N bombs being dropped and like, wait, why are they saying this on Arrakis?
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny about stuff that doesn't belong in this tone is if you watch the David Lynch movie, and this got me because I just rewatched it. He actually has a pet pug, and I'm like, wait, they have pugs in space? That kind of threw me off a little bit. Just having a terrestrial animal that's known to be on Earth, way out there in space on a different planet, kind of threw me off.
Yeah, the only pets that we have in the Denis version is the sandworms. So
yeah, it's like, shouldn't you have like a pet xenomorph or something at that point? I don't know.
I feel like Fade should have had some, rather than his cannibal girls as his pets.
I was gonna say he had pet humans. So
yeah.
He went above and beyond with it.
That was yet another real fucked up part of his character, where it's just like, wait a minute, what? You have cannibal women that you keep with?
Yeah,
like,
the black teeth and everything kind of got me. That was nice.
Cool. Very eerie, very
cool. It was
cool.
interesting and cool, but it was something else. Yeah.
Damn, I kind of wish Austin Butler was had more in the movie. Honestly, then again, I'm sure they did cut a lot, but man, it was just. I thought
he doesn't show up until like what, halfway through?
Yeah.
At least, yeah. But man, when he shows up, like, damn. Again, give that man his flowers, because I thought he did that. He was just fucking awesome.
He had the best menacing presence to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it was perfect.
The fact that he felt more menacing than Dave Bautista, which I think was done intentionally.
He felt more menacing than the Baron and everything. He's like, this is the guy to look out for right here. You know?
Yeah, so when we got that showdown at the end, it just made it all more worth it there.
Yeah.
All right, I guess we can kind of wrap things up here, because I gotta get ready for work pretty soon here. So we'll go around the circle, give a rating 1 through 10, and promote whatever we want to promote. So Tyler, go ahead, man. Floor is yours, and I promise you the sound should work.
All right, cool. So I mean, despite the fact that I brought up flaws, I still love this movie. I pretty much I like to play devil's advocate with things, and plus I also just like to mention things that I notice, even if I can mention something that I consider a flaw, but it's a flaw that doesn't bug me. So I still love the movie. 9 out of 10. Just great film. I would put it slightly below the first one because, again, the world building in the first one is just chef's kiss.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't wait to see this one again. I think it'll hold up well. I'm most curious to see this. I can't wait to do a double feature. It's going to be a very long, like 5 hour and 20 something minute journey, but yeah, I think that'll be well worth it. And yeah, as I said earlier, I do Needlessly Nostalgic. It's a podcast where we are going through the Friday the 13th film franchise. Friday will be the 5th entry, A New Beginning, and it's a very fun episode. Make sure you check it out, and always make sure to check out Joe Blow Originals, Joe Blow Horror Originals, and Joe Blow Celebrity Interviews, because I have work on all 3 of those channels. So yeah, that's all I have. Joe?
Yes, this movie, 10 on 10 for me. It, again, best sequel in very many years, and I would put it up there, like I said, with Empire Strikes Back. I don't know how they're going to capitalize on this. Hopefully they can, but, you know, even if this ends up being better than the next installment, this movie stands alone. It's on its own 2 feet, and it's, I'm going to go see it again. I definitely am going to go see it again. This time, if it's available, I'll go in 40X just to see what that's like. But, yeah, 10 out of 10 for me, for sure.
Excellent. Okay, Joe, go ahead. Let's promote our upcoming shows here. Or, let's just promote our past shows here. So, if you haven't already, John Turk.
Yes, check out our live stream with the one, the only John Turk.
And, of course, our top 5 most anticipated movies of 2024, which included Dune, by the way, and Tyler was part of that discussion.
Yes, check that out if you haven't seen it already, as well as our top 5 games, top 5 most anticipated games of 2024 live stream.
Yes, and we also had Shaq Oatmeal part of that, as well as Wild Band and Mad Mike Jones. It was a really fun discussion, also available on all podcast platforms. And then tomorrow, guys, we're going back to Twitch.
Yes, back to X-Men Legends.
And, of course, Thursday, big show, Joe.
Yes, Mike Valenti of Brick by Brick.
Yes, and listen, just to go into some details real quick, Mike, not only that he's in a band, Brick by Brick, but he also books shows, promotes shows, and he's got some rock and roll stories, and he's going to share us an epic story about Chris Jericho and why Chris Jericho hates his guts. So please, if you want to hear some great rock and roll and wrestling gossip, please show up to this live stream on Thursday. Mike's a cool motherfucker. I'm honored to have him on the show. And then, tentatively speaking, Joe, Friday, back on Twitch.
Yes, Friday, tentatively 4 p.m., we will be doing Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze.
Yes.
Yay.
And next Thursday, huge guests, Happy Little Games.
Yes, Batman QC.
Yes, be there for that. Man's got over 60,000 subscribers. He does documentaries on old arcade games. Wednesday, March 20th, Joe.
Yes, Eli Rex finally makes his way to do an interview with us.
Thursday, March 28th.
Yes, we'll be...
Return of Doc Mac.
It's Doc Mac. We got so many good guests coming up, it's hard to see between them. But yes, Return of Doc Mac from Galloping Ghost Arcade.
And finally, kicking off Season 5 in April, we have Finn McKenty, the punk rock NBA.
500,000 subscribers strong.
Wednesday, April 3rd, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Be there for Big Papa Finn. I cannot wait to talk music with this guy. I can't wait to talk metal, new metal, and of course, we got to talk video games and movies. Be there. Exclusive interview with Finn McKenty on NerdCage Live. Be there, guys. NerdCage Live Season 5 in full swing, man. Joe, it's been one hell of a fucking journey. Also,
yes,
I personally want to thank everybody getting us to 2,200 subscribers, and we are climbing. We're climbing fast. Please keep spreading the word at NerdCage Live. We have a lot more guests we haven't even announced yet, guys. All right, this is just the beginning, guys. NerdCage Live, we're striving, baby. We're striving. All right. Finally, my closing thoughts. This was a 10 out of 10 for me. I absolutely fucking loved it. I'm a sucker for science fiction. I liked the first movie. I loved this one. Joe said it best. This was basically the Empire Strikes Back of Dune 2 was basically the Empire Strikes Back to Star Wars, basically. And I cannot wait for 3. I just deserves multiple viewings, and you need to see it in the biggest screen possible. And yes, there were some tiny little flaws, but not enough for me to budge by 10 out of 10. This is not only that this is like the best movie of the year so far. This might be one of the best movies of the decade, and this is going to dominate the Oscars next year. Just wait. So, and again, masterful performances and a masterful job from Denis Villeneuve. And again, Nintendo, if you're listening, this guy needs to do Metroid. Also, please be sure to pick up a NerdCage Live t-shirt. Again, we come in any size, any color, big or small. We love them all. This is the best way to support us directly, guys. Again, link in the description. We go from small all the way to 5XL. Now that we got t-shirts, we got hoodies, we got magnets, we got mugs, we got tote bags, we even got goddamn pillows. So please, go to NerdCage Live TeePublic. You're going to love the way you look. I guarantee it. Again, thank you to everybody who hung out with us tonight to talk Dune with us. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Appreciate if you're just tuning in on the replay. Thank you very much. If you're listening on our podcast platforms or on YouTube, thank you very much. We will be back on Twitch tomorrow night. We'll be back here on YouTube on Thursday. Please continue to spread the word that is NerdCage Live, because we're coming, baby. We're coming for that ass. So, we pretty please ask you to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and spread that shit like the goddamn spice. So the USA from yours truly, Syracuse, New York, and Detroit, Michigan, or I'm sorry, Tyler, what's the name of that? Kalamazoo, Michigan. To all of our friends around the world at NerdCage Live, Joe Blow, and of course, the brand new podcast Needlessly Nostalgic. As always, enjoy life, stay safe, eat your vegetables, do your push-ups, go to the gym, keep watching science fiction, keep watching Dune, keep playing video games, and good night. And stick around for our awesome Twitch promo, and we will see you tomorrow night on Twitch. And God bless. See ya!
NerdCage Live and gaming are a perfect match.
Shoot the J, Joe.
Okay.
Shoot it!
All right.
Over on NerdCage Live on Twitch, Jay and Joe go live.
Call me Bazooka Joe. It's all about you.
Kaboom! Playing both old school and new school games every Tuesday night. Ooh, what a sight!
Jay, stop looking at her face and run.
But she's so beautiful.
So be sure to follow NerdCage Live on Twitch.
Run for your life, Joe. Run for your life, Joe.
Running.
Run faster. Oh no, Joe, the galaxy's doomed because of you.
To scratch your gaming itch.
Oh, nice kick, Joe.
Thank you.
Yo, that's diabolical. Wait. Yo!
That's twitch.tv/NerdCage Live.
Ooh, trying to get out of the NerdCage, are ya? Well, before you go, hit that subscribe button. And if you're really intrigued, ring that bell. Thank you for dropping by. Until next time, tell everyone you know about NerdCage Live!